Hey guys, how's it going with everybody? I hope you're doing well whenever you tune in and see this. So, this is going to be a general reading for a Gemini and Cancer for September 29th through October 29th. It's a general reading, so you can cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, money, etc. All right, and it is also a timeless reading. So for some people, it may resonate within that window from September 29th through October 29th, but for other group of people, it may be a little bit before or a little bit after. So only take what resonates with you, okay? And everybody is welcome, right? Whether you are a sun sign Gemini or rising Gemini or ascending Gemini, or you have your moon in Gemini. Wow, and that was super loud, and I'll just be turning that down. I keep music on in the background just for the dogs, a little bit instrumental, and sometimes the commercials come through really loud. So sorry about that. If you see me playing with the phone, that's what's going on. But anyway, back to what I was saying before that. So yes, everybody is welcome because I was starting to say we all have all 12 zodiac signs throughout each individual of our birth charts, right? So you have Gemini and Cancer somewhere in your chart, even if it's not, you don't see the word Gemini or Cancer, you might see the houses associated with those signs, those kind of things. Okay, so also depending on what's going on in your life, you may resonate more with your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, that kind of thing. So I always tell people, if they haven't already, find out what your other placements are. There's a lot of great free websites out there. The one I like to use is Cafe Astrology. I was saying Astrology Cafe, but I think it's cafeastrology.com. And even if you don't have your exact birth time, you can still get a lot of your other placements. All right. So anyway, we'll just put all that info aside, right? Let's get into the Gemini reading here. I've already pulled all of your cards ahead of time, dear Gemini, just to save some time. So we'll go through your reading, and then after the live is done, I will post timestamps for some of the people that just want Gemini or just want Cancer. And I'll also put timestamps there that include before shuffling or after shuffling for the Cancer. Obviously, we can't do the Gemini before shuffling because I did it off screen to save time. But what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, one more thing. I already took your photo here, Gemini. I take a photo of all the zodiac sign readings that I do, and then I post it online afterwards in case you want to see it more up close in detail or see everything all together at a later time. So after the live, usually within 10 minutes or so, I'll post it. So if that's something that you're interested in, all you have to do is click in the description box below and follow the instructions to get to my Facebook. It's pretty easy, and it'll be one of the comments, one of the first comments after the reading is posted there. All right, so I think that we've covered everything. Let's go ahead and get into your reading here, Gemini. You're like, come on, I've been waiting. All right, so Gemini, let's do a quick sound bell, though, to just ground our energy and kind of prepare for the reading here. So just be aware that it's going to be a little bit loud for some if you're sensitive or listening with headphones, but it's not going to be forever. All right, so if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out and just kind of surrender and get into the vibes, or you can just listen to whatever feels good for you. All right. All right, Gemini, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Okay, So, Gemini, let's go ahead and start first. I'm just turning up the music a little bit here again for the dogs in case they act crazy. It's good, just background ambient noise. Um, let's go ahead and talk about the zodiac signs too before we get too far up into your reading, the other zodiac signs that we do see present. But first, we'll also, of course, talk about the placements of the cards and call them out and all that stuff. So we're talking about a 4-week time period for some, right? It can be a little bit before, a little bit after. But the first 4 cards on the top, each one is going to correspond to about a week's time period or so. All right, so again, we're doing September 29th through October 29th. All right. So when we're on each card, I will kind of call out the dates again as a rough estimate. Okay, but Gemini, we start off with the Prince of Cups in the right side up position here for you. We have the Prince of Swords in the right side up position. We have the Three of Swords in the reverse position, and we have the Queen of Sacred Circles, also known as Queen of Pentacles, in the right side up position. All right, so as far as the other zodiac signs that I see here, you really only have Gemini one major arcana in your reading, and it's not necessarily good or bad, right? But you do have some Taurus energy with the Hierophant that's in the past position here, so we'll get more into that later. So it could be Gemini that some of you guys are dealing with a Taurus, or you have a lot of Taurus predominantly in your chart, or the other person does, or multiple people, general environment situation. Excuse me. It could also be referencing the Taurus season of this year that's already passed. I mean, the year we're in now, or last Taurus season, or next Taurus season, or it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything at all. But we do, I do like to call them out in the beginning. Now let's go ahead real quickly before we get into the juicy, juicy, until we get into the in-depth part of your reading. I guess it's juicy. That's all could be juicy, right? I don't know why I said that. But basically, let's count real quickly as far as the minor arcana, which one is the most prevalent here, because that can be another additional underlying theme, right? So we do have, where did I see it? 3 swords, okay. We've got 3 pentacles, wait, actually, hold on, 4 swords, so it's probably swords, but we'll double check. 3 pentacles, your major arcana, and then 1 cup. Okay, so it's definitely swords, right? But it was almost a tie there between pentacles until I realized that the other one was a sword. So what does that mean? So swords, just like the wands in some ways, can be either a tool or a weapon. But in the tarot, the swords talk about, in particular, our crown chakra, our mental health. So is my mental health in a good place, or is it in an imbalanced place and it needs to be worked on? That kind of thing. Am I using enough logical part of my brain and my body, or am I not using enough, or am I using too much, right? So those are kind of, can be an underlying theme there. But of course, again, when I said it could be a tool or a weapon, it kind of goes with those things. So it can be, either in the positive or in the gentle reminder section, or the negative section, if you want to call it negative, but it's usually something we all have to work on throughout our life, right? In different times. So anyway, let's put that aside and go ahead and get into your reading here. And at the very end, we'll talk about your tarot confirmation card, because we are using 2 different decks, your oracle card, and then I've been using some alphabet letter charms to switch it up a little bit. So we'll go over that at the end as well. But let's see what we have here for you, Gemini. So we start off your reading with 2 princes back to back, and they're both in the right side up position. So that's some really nice energy here for you, Gemini. Again, when we're on the first card, we're talking about from September 29th through October 8th. For the second one, I'm just saying we'll go one by one, but they're both princes, so we're just talking about that younger kind of energy here. Youthful energy, open to learning energy, and the other one is on the second week, which could be from October 9th through October 15th. So basically from the end of September till about October 15th, so middle of October, right, we do have these two princes. And so let's start with the first one though, so we don't get ahead of ourselves, okay? So here we have Gemini, and in particular, with the first card in particular, but it can be true throughout your whole reading, is that we're picking up energy from the recent past. So for some, that could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. And again, always something to keep in mind is this reading here, Gemini, could be about you or another person or multiple people, general environment situation. So only take it, what resonates for you. All right. So with this Prince of Cups in the right side up position, it could be that in the recent past or even currently coming up, right, or going on currently, there is some type of medium-sized offer or communication that's coming through, because it's not a page. So in tarot goes page, prince or knight, and then king, right? So that's why I say a medium-sized offer or opportunity. What does that mean, right? It could be something. When we also talk about cups, we're talking about emotions. So there could be some kind of emotionally satisfying communication that you're going to give to someone or someone's going to give to you, or it comes in general from your spirit guides, guardian angels, what have you. But it can be emotionally satisfying and fulfilling on somebody's side, or hopefully both sides, right? But also going back to the medium size communication, if in the past you only communicated with someone by text message and you never physically talked on the phone, then maybe going up from only text messaging, now you talk on the phone. Or if you've never met in person, now you meet in person, or whatever the next medium-sized step up would be for you for your life, because it will be different for everybody, okay? But it is in general for momentum and progress. Like I was saying, both of these princes in your first 2 weeks or so is really nice to see. It's youthful energy, right? And it is hopefully something that is, more, what was I going to say? More emotionally satisfying also, but again, being open to learning new things. They're not kings yet, okay? So if there is some type of communication or offer comes in, and I don't really get that energy here, but I always like to say it, right? Don't be offended if it's not like, oh my gosh, I want to get married, if we're talking about romantic stuff, or I want to move in with you, or whatever big thing that, let's say, in the background you might want. It's got to go kind of in smaller stages first. So I don't really get that energy here from you, so I'm not sure why I said it, but I said it for somebody. Okay, so don't necessarily be put off by the medium-sized opportunity or communication that's going to come in, because it's still really good, and it's better than nothing, right? And it's not a small one, it's in the middle, okay? All right, but let's keep going here. So now when we come to your second week, in particular when we're talking about the Prince of Swords in the right side up position, he's got, remember how I said swords was your predominant minor arcana. His sword is in the right side up position, okay? And he looks, hopefully you can see if I come a little closer. This Japanese guy looks like he's got his eyes closed and he's meditating, right? So his mental clarity is there. His sword is up. He's using the sword to cut through obstacles on his path, right? Maybe he's even using it not only as a weapon to protect himself, but maybe he's using it as a tool to cut up some fish and cook it, or whatever, whatever that kind of thing we're talking about. But he's also, in this energy in this card, is he's using his emotions in a positive way, and he's trying to integrate his heart chakra and his logical mind, his crown chakra, because we do see some water here in the background, and so water in the tarot is the emotions, right? And he's learning to master them, and to listen to both sides, both areas of life, if you wanted to compare it to 3D or 5D, that kind of thing. But let's kind of look down here, because this is where Spirit wanted me to talk to you about kind of the energy that made it possible for this Prince of Swords to show up in the second week. So here, this is definitely the cards on the bottom row. Here are all past energies. So again, it can be recent, past, whatever that means for you, or further back. And we're going to talk about it with that Prince of Swords, okay? So what we have over here is that Taurus energy I was talking about in the beginning of the reading showed up in the Hierophant, and the right side up position was on the top of your deck. And then on the bottom of your deck over here, you have the Princess of Sacred Circles or Princess of Pentacles, okay? So it looks like here in the past, Gemini, there could have been either somebody who represented a teacher, a spiritual mentor, um, a priest, somebody who was in a position of authority to possibly give answers or more insight, or it could have been you yourself here, Gemini, in some type of leadership role where others came to answers for you. Of course, when we're talking about the Hierophant, we can also talk about schools and institutions, higher learning, that kind of thing. But basically, again, these two past cards made it possible for the Prince of Swords to show up here, okay? So whether it was, again, you bringing out these leadership qualities in yourself and or possibly also getting some advice or answers and guidance from someone else. It led to also the Princess of Sacred Circles, right? So you can see she's holding a child, but she's also pregnant with another one. So it's about planting the seeds for the future. So in the past, okay, remember this princess kind of made it possible too, if we wanted to look at it this way, for both of those princes to come out. So they're all, if I can hold the cards properly, they're all this youthful energy. They're both princes up on the top, and then we have the princess, right? So they're open to learning new things. They're not necessarily set in their ways. When we talk about pentacles, of course, we're talking about abundance and money and wealth, but not just that, whatever it is you currently want to manifest in your life. So in the past, somebody started to, or an energy started to, if it wasn't you yourself or another person, Gemini, plant those seeds, and maybe you're going to start to see some of them come in more again in these first 2 weeks of October. All right. So moving forward, let's keep going. I do want to say here, Gemini, too, that you really don't have any energetic blockages or challenges showing up here in your reading. You have one a little bit in the past, but nothing is showing up like that in the future current possibilities. So that's really cool to see. But let's go into this third week and third card. So I think, sorry, the incense and the wind today is getting to me. I might put it out in a minute. We said the third week was around October 16th through October 22nd, perhaps, right? And we show up with a great reversal here for you, Gemini. It's a Three of Swords in reverse position, okay? So this is so nice to see because it means either you yourself or another person, multiple people, general environment, is letting go of anxiety, worry, overthinking, or any type of heartache or pain from the past, okay, or mental exhaustion, right? Somebody's letting that go. The energy is changing and lifting. And so that's what you want to see, right? Nobody wants to be holding on to pain, hurt, heartache, betrayal, or mental exhaustion or confusion, right? So when that starts to lift, and I know that, of course, we have 5 planets going direct throughout the month of October. In particular, when we're talking about October 16th through the 22nd, I believe, yes, that's when Saturn goes direct. That's also when we shift into Scorpio season. So, of course, and also Juno goes direct as well. And I think I was talking about this in the Taurus reading from yesterday. I can't remember. It was either Aries or Taurus. That when we're talking about Saturn, we're talking about responsibilities, moral obligations, authorities, right? And then Juno is the planet of marriage, commitments, and partnerships. Not just romantic, it can be work partnerships or with friends or family, etc., right? But it's interesting and so nice to see that it's happening here for you, Gemini, in that third week, because if there was some type of hurt, pain, or heartache from a partnership, a marriage, or a commitment, right? That it is going to be lifted. Okay, so it can, go along also with the general astrology that we're talking about here too. But You can check out the astrology notes video that I have here on my channel as well if that's something that you're into. But let's go back to the cards here as well, okay? So we're going to talk about real quickly what's on the top and the bottom here. Again, these are kind of sponsored cards or energy from the past that made it possible for that Three of Swords to show up in the reverse position. So what we have here is the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position was on the top of your deck. And then we have the Two of Swords in the right side up position, okay, was on the bottom of your deck here, Gemini. So it looks like here in the past, there could have been a feeling of lack of resources or being valued in some way with that Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position, or in the past it was harder to be more productive as you wanted to be, or your job or effort, if it's not just production in your work, but effort into in a relationship or a project, career, health, whatever it is, right? So when it's in that reverse position from the past, it could have been a little bit of that energetic blockage, right? The only one that shows up here in your reading, but it's in the past position, okay? It could also be that somebody's evaluation of your efforts or work into something was not correct, or your own evaluation of yourself and effort and work into something was not correct, okay? But here, over here, when we partner it with that Two of Swords energy, it's like somebody then used that Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position as a catalyst to then be like, okay, what do I need to think about, not only with my logical mind with the swords and the 3D physical world where I pay my bills, but what is my intuition saying, right? Let me blindfold myself. Let me cut off certain senses so I can hear the other ones sharper, right? And so when we have this Two of Swords in the right side up position in the past, it again made it possible for then someone to say, well, what am I letting go of, right? That could be holding me back. The hurt, the pain, the heartache, the betrayal, the mental confusion or exhaustion. So it looks like somebody, in the past here, Gemini, whether it's you yourself or the other person or multiple people, they really started to put the work in the past here. And that's why you really don't have any energetic blockages or gentle reminders or challenges in the current present energies here. It's showing up more in the past because somebody was doing the work, okay? Now let's keep going forward, though. I don't want to stay there too long, okay? Now we come to your fourth card, and this is, we said, could be from around October 23rd through the 29th or so, right? It's just an estimate. The Queen of Sacred Circles, or the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so that's your second pentacle card, or your third, I'm sorry. Your third pentacle card, doesn't really matter, but I'm just saying it out loud, right? But this is a beautiful, abundant energy. When we talk about pentacles or sacred circles, of course, we're talking about money and wealth, but also whatever you want to manifest in your world. And the Queen of Pentacles, or Queen of Sacred Circles, out of all the queens, because she represents that earth sign energy, can be known as more nurturing and soft but stern at the same time, right? So that's why we see that grandmother figure here with the young child or baby, okay? But also when we talked about queens, right, or kings too, your first two cards were princes. Then you had a princess in the past. Then you end with the queen, okay, Gemini? So that could say that for some of you guys here, there's a leveling up in some area of your life or multiple areas of your life, right? So now the energy is culminating to its highest. We also have the full moon in the background here, right? So something at its highest peak, okay? The highest it can go in a certain area of your life, or just stepping up in general, right? So going, as an example, I always say entry-level employees, like where you start, and then you go from entry level to, let's say, manager, and then manager to CEO. Of course, there's other steps in between, possibly, depending on what kind of work you do. But it's just like, something is moving upwards. Something is leveling up here, and that is really nice. Now, also, if it isn't just about money and wealth, right? The pentacles can talk about our values. So if there was an area, remember, if we go back to the past just for a quick second, where you weren't being valued in some way, or you weren't being evaluated correctly as far as how much effort or work you were putting into something, then now by that fourth week, right, by the end of basically October, from like October 23rd through the 29th or so, then there's going to be more value. There's going to be more reciprocity, or just feeling valued in yourself, vice versa, hopefully everyone, right? But this is really beautiful, okay? And again, it has that nurturing kind of energy to it in the background. So maybe you're being more nurturing to yourself and to others. It could go lots of different ways, but it's really beautiful here, Gemini. So I love to see it. All right, but let's keep going. So now we're talking about your last tarot card here, and this is your tarot confirmation card that confirms all four cards at the top, all 4 weeks basically, and it's your repeating card, okay? So this confirmation card is a combination. Confirmation combination sounds funny because it's, I don't know, 2 C words just together back to back. It's a combination of past energy and also future energy. So sometimes when they show up in this position, if they're in the positive vibration of the tarot card, it would be like, if you're going to continue on this pathway, then you might get this. Or this is what you need to use to find out how to continue getting these things, if that's what you want. But here, this one that came out here for you, Gemini, is more of a similar kind of thing, but it's not necessarily the positive vibration of the card. It's more like, don't return to the past, okay? So I'm going to put it together because remember I said it is a repeating card. So you got the 3 of Swords in the right side up position as your tarot confirmation card. But remember, in your 3rd week, you had the 3 of Swords in the reverse position, all right? And so when this shows up here as your confirmation card, I feel like it's just a little bit of a warning or gentle reminder being like, hey, don't return to the hurt, the heartache, the pain, the betrayal, the mental confusion or exhaustion. Don't do that, right? Because that's not going to serve you for sure, and it's definitely not going to serve others, okay? So I feel like this reminder or this confirmation card is just saying don't go backwards, because it could be really easy to do that. Give it some time. So like I said before, we have the 5 planets going direct throughout October. Of course, when the planet stops from going backwards, then it has to pick up speed slowly to go forwards. There's post-shadow and pre-shadow to every planet that goes into retrograde. So always kind of be like, why isn't it happening exactly throughout the month? Well, for some people, you feel it differently. So maybe you feel it more towards, let's say, the 1st or 2nd week of November for some, okay? Just don't go backwards is basically what it's saying here. Just trust that things are moving in the right direction that they need to be going. Also, the last planet that's currently in retrograde doesn't go direct until November 23rd, which is Jupiter, okay? So that's also something to keep in mind, but it's not, always bad, right? I think Mercury gets the worst rep as far as the retrogrades, because he's a little bit of a trickster, right? But not all retrogrades are bad, okay? So with that being said, let's talk about your Oracle card and your little letter charms here, and then we will be switching over to Cancer. So Gemini, the Oracle card that you got for this time period, I was just making sure the music, the commercials wasn't coming on, is from the Rebecca Campbell deck, all right? And it says, Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Okay, but hold up. Right? Jesus was a prophet. We can appreciate him even if not everybody is Christian or religious in that way. Um, but basically, we see this woman in the center of the card that looks like Mary figure. She's got a halo over her head. But basically, what it says it here underneath it is seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Okay. So when I think of Mary, and I went to Catholic school, so I get it, people, right? And I don't consider myself Catholic anymore, but I can respect everybody, um, is that nurturing energy. Okay. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine inside of us. Okay. So just put the Jesus part aside if it really bothers you, right? And just look at the energy of the cards and the artist depictions and kind of say, okay, how do I lay the foundations? Much like your Princess of Sacred Circles in the past, somebody started to do that, right? She's pregnant, she's planting the seeds, another metaphor. Okay. So yeah, how do I plant the seeds? How do I lay the foundation? What is the divine plan for me and for my life? How can I get nurturing energy to support that? Okay. So that is beautiful. All right. Now let's get to your letter charms here, Gemini. So when we're talking about the letter charms, sometimes they spell out words, not always. It's kind of rare. Okay, so they could be acronyms. They can be somebody's initials. And I always tell people to check the photo throughout this time period because you may see something right now that doesn't necessarily resonate, but maybe later it might. And I'm really curious to see how these go. So always let me know in the comments down below. But the little one that stood out here for me, Gemini, was SUV. Okay, right? So we're talking about possibly a car, an SUV. I guess I'm having trouble holding all three of them up together, but we're gonna do it. Okay. I don't know if you can see that far. SUV. There we go. SUV. Okay. Is something that fell out in the beginning. And I've been pulling 6 for every sign. So then you also had IGZ, okay? So again, you can make combinations however you want, right? So SUV, USV, VUS, right? IGZ, okay. GIZ, what was it? Oh, ZIG, right? SIG, SUG. Did we do that one already? Can't remember now. VUG. I feel like I already did that one. Maybe not. Anyway, hopefully you're getting what I'm saying. So you can play around with the letter charms and see again, maybe something may resonate, but it doesn't have to, right? It's just kind of an interesting kind of thing I wanted to add to the readings. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead, Gemini, and switch over to Cancer. So thank you so much to all the people out there that maybe are only tuning in for the Gemini. So I want to say thank you. And if you like this video and you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, it is free, right? All you have to do is hit the subscribe button if you have your YouTube account already set up. And then if you like the video, it also helps with the YouTube's algorithms to share it with others, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to Cancer. I'm going to note the time. We're at 33 minutes or so. All right. So we're going to pull everything over here and do a little bit of leaving the crystals on top of the cards so they can charge for a moment before we do the shuffling. And then we'll also, of course, do another little sound bell to clear the energy from Gemini and to switch over to Cancer. I think I forgot to mention to you guys, or maybe I have before, I can't remember, that I think, because both of my dogs are rescue, but I was like counting back from how many months they were when I adopted them. And so I think Cleo, my girl dog, might be a Gemini. And I think that my boy dog, Hermes, might be a Cancer. So either way, right, if you don't already know, if you were, let's say, a sun sign Gemini, you're going to have a lot of placements and also Taurus and Cancer. So the sign that's before you and after you, you're going to have a lot of placements in it. So I thought it was interesting because I was like, okay, so they have been sticking by me when I was shuffling for Gemini more, and they seemed like they really wanted to get into the Cancer reading as well. So there you go. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and recenter, regroup, release the energy of the Gemini and get into Cancer, okay? And then also for those of the people who are just tuning in later or right now, right, this is going to be a general reading for Cancer as well. It can cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, money, etc. It is a timeless reading, so it can resonate for some before, after September 29th through October 29th. Everybody is welcome, right? We all have Cancer somewhere in our chart. Even if you don't see the word Cancer, you may have the house that rules Cancer somewhere in your chart, okay? So everybody is welcome. We will also take a photo after we pull all of the cards and charms and things, and I'll place it on my Facebook page after the live if you want to check it out. But yeah, I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and get into it here. So yeah, if you want to, you can just take a deep breath, kind of chill out, and hear the sound bell for just a few moments. All right. All right, Cancer. Let's go ahead and get into your reading here. Okay. So again, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to check in and see this video. Messages for Cancer, water sign Cancer. Cancer, the crab. What do they need to see? What do they need to know? For September 29th through October 29th, water sign Cancer, the crab. Messages for Cancer, spirits guide my hands. Messages for water sign Cancer. For September 29th through October 29th. Messages for Cancer. Messages for water sign Cancer, the crowd. For September 29th through October 29th. September 29th through October 29th. What do we need to see? We need to know messages for water sign Cancer. Wow, Cancer, your cards are just flipping out. I'm not going to take that one only because I didn't physically select it and we already have 4 that came out. I'm going to peek at it, see if it shows up later. Put it back in the middle. All right. It was the 6 of Swords. All right. Side note. So now also we're going to take the top and the bottom from the deck. Okay. And we'll figure out later where Spirit wants those. We'll just put them to the side here. I will confirm real quickly if they do want this reversal. Okay, so they want it right side up, so that's fine. So then we'll go ahead and switch to the next step here. Spirits guide my hands, messages. These cards are big and hard. Just shuffle a little bit. Okay. Messages for water sign Cancer. The crab for the highest vibration. September 29th through October 29th. Cancer. Messages for Cancer. Spirits guide my hands. Messages for water sign Cancer. The crab for September 29th, October 29th, Cancer. One card only, please, spirits. One card only. Messages for water sign Cancer. The crab for September 29th through October 29th. Messages for Cancer. Oh, okay. I want it. So then we do the same thing. We take the top and the bottom. Put these over here. I'm going to pick up the whole table there. And we'll figure out, make sure they want these guys before removing. Okay, so they want that one. Okay. And then these two real quick. Spirits, you want Page of Swords in the first position, represent what's in the bottom. It's ancestral past territory. Okay. So they want that. We'll figure out in a minute where exactly they want them. Let's go ahead and not forget the Oracle card that we do at the end. Okay. Spirits guide my hands. Messages for water sign Cancer. The crab. One card only, please, for Cancer, the crab. For September 29th through October 29th. Okay. Okay, so they said they want it. I'll just put it there for now. We're also going to do, of course, the 6 letter charms real quickly. So let's do that. Shake it. Okay. Spirits guide my hands. Letter charms for water sign Cancer. Okay. For September 29th through October 29th. Use these letter charms, please. So we got 4. All right, we need 1. Spirits guide my hands. Letter charms for Cancer. Letter sign Cancer. Okay, so we got 6. All right. And we will take a quick picture just to have for later. But let me figure out where they want these cards real quickly. What's on the top and the bottom. Interesting. I feel like maybe, let's see. Okay. Spirits, you want the time. First version we talked about on the 3 pentacles in the right side of position. I'm going to talk about the 10 of staves in the right side of position. Oh, they don't want it there. Okay, maybe not. Alrighty. Spirits, you want me to talk about the first position. Okay. So I switched to the first card and they said yes. So alrighty. Now let's figure out where they want these guys. Let's see, maybe here. Spirits, do you want the 2 cups in the right side of position and the 8 of swords in the right side of position? We talk about 10 circles in the right side. Spirits, please give me a clear and definitive yes or no answer for the greater good of all who may interact in any way with this reading. Spirits, do you want me to talk about the 2 cups in the right side up position and the 8 of swords in the right side up position when I talk about the 10 of sacred circles in the right side up position? Okay. So yes, that's where they want it. So yeah, let's take a picture and get started. Okay, here we go. Make sure it's in focus. All right, it looks good. So, what time are we at now, Cancer? 44 minutes. Okay, and some change. So, I will make a mental note of that for the timestamps for later. All right. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see what we got here for you, Cancer. We are doing that 4 week time period, right? So, each of the four cards on the top row here is going to correspond to about a week's time period or so. All right. So we start off here, Cancer, with the Hanged Man or the Hanged One. This is known in this deck in the right side up position. The Six of Cups in the right side up position. The Ten of Sacred Circles or Ten of Pentacles right side up. And the Ten of Staves or Ten of Wands right side up. And then we'll talk about the other ones as we go throughout the reading. All right. But yeah, let's see here. You have really only one major arcana here. Wait, I take that back, two. Two. All right, so we do have, and why are we talking about this? We're talking about the other zodiac signs that's showing up here in your reading, Cancer. We do have some Pisces energy. It's not the official card for Pisces, but there's some Pisces energy here. And we have Aries, the official card for Aries, okay? So it means you could be dealing with an Aries or a Pisces, or you have a lot of it in your birth chart, or the other person does. General environment situation, or it could be referring to Pisces season of last year, the one coming up next year, or the Aries season of last year, the one we already had this year, the one coming up next year. Okay, or it doesn't necessarily mean anything at all, but I wanted to mention it. Now, as far as the minor arcana, let's see what we have. Which ones are the predominant ones here, Cancer? Um, So we have three pentacles, one cup, two cups, one wand, and one sword. Okay, so it's definitely pentacles, right? So one of the underlying themes that it can talk about is values, not just coins and money when we talk about pentacles, but am I being valued enough? Is the other person, is the environment situation, vice versa? How is my time being valued? All those things. Okay, so that's just kind of on the back burner there. But yes, let's also talk about the time period for these cards, and I'll try to mention it when we're on excuse me, each one. All right. So the first one we said could be from around September 29th through October 8th. The second card in second week could be from around October 9th through October 15th. The third card could be from around October 16th through the 22nd of October. And the fourth card could be from around October 23rd through October 29th or so. All right. So let's see here, Cancer. We start off with that Hanged One, as it's called in this deck, or also known as the Hanged Man, right? That Pisces energy. So this is really nice energy to start off your reading here. This could be about you yourself or another person, multiple people, general environment situation. But in particular, when we talk about the first card, it can be from the recent past. We do have past energy under here that Spirit wants to talk about, so we'll get into that afterwards. But the Hanged One or the Hanged Man is really like fresh start energy in certain ways. It's not necessarily an ace, right? An ace in the tarot, but it is seeing something from a different perspective. And here, instead of a man upside down, we see. Oh, so sorry, I didn't realize I was going off. Okay, we see, a baby fetus, right? A man or woman, we don't know, right? And it's upside down, right, in the belly. Okay, but what it talks about is seeing something from also a new perspective, an innocent perspective, let's say for some. So here we have. Let's say looking at the world from a baby's eyes or a fresh start energy around something like that. Okay, so again, this could be you, Cancer, or someone around you helping bring this out in you. It will be different for everybody. But let's kind of see why this card came out. So these are the sponsor cards that are underneath it. All right, so we do have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position, which was on the top of your deck. And then we have the Three of Pentacles in the right side up position was on the bottom of your deck. Okay, so again, this is past energy, whether it was from a couple days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. Okay, but what we have going on here, Cancer, is with the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position, you could have been feeling in the past, or the other person, right, not supported enough, or not feeling abundant enough. Maybe there was an ending or a new beginning that was supposed to happen and didn't, or was not well received by you or the other person and multiple people, or straight up just didn't happen with that Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position. But there was also, again, that feeling of lack of support in some way, maybe not just financially, but in other ways as well when we talk about values, okay? But then on the other hand, okay, with that energy, somebody took it, that Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position, and made it a catalyst card to then have the Three of Pentacles, right? So this is about teamwork, okay? So these other people are telling this stonemason dude, make sure you do it a little to the left, or a little bit to the right, or giving him that encouragement to keep going. Oh, you really did a great job. Or maybe they switch off, in between each other, right? For who's going to work, or some are the architects and some are the workers, right? But it really is about teamwork here. And so I feel like that teamwork from the past was a good thing to do in some way, and made it possible for that fresh start energy with the Hanged Man or Hanged One to show up in the current present energies. All right. Now over here, when we get to your second week, and we said this could be from around October 9th through the 15th, we have the Six of Cups in the right side up position. So this is talking about a person from the past, an energy from the past, but something from the past, okay, that was emotionally satisfied or fulfilling in some way. Okay, it can be talking about a nostalgia. If, let's say, you had a good childhood, or the other person did, or even doesn't necessarily have to be childhood, because just we're talking about the past in some way was good, right? It is a Six of Cups, so we got 3 and 3 on each side. But when it shows up here, I feel that it is about taking some of those lessons from the past, appreciating, maybe let's say the student now appreciates the teacher, or vice versa. The teacher now appreciates the student, or maybe they always appreciated each other, but they're thinking fondly of each other. And it again is just bringing back that nostalgia from the past in some way here. So that's really nice to see. Not too much to say other than that about that card, but let's keep going. Okay, so now when we get to your third week here, Cancer, we have the Ten of Sacred Circles. Remember how I said, which is also a repeating card, because Sacred Circles and Pentacles are the same name in this other deck here, right? So I'll show it to you with the other one. But basically, in this third week here, October 16th through the 22nd, perhaps, you're going to start feeling more support, Cancer, feeling more abundant with not only money and wealth, but whatever it is you want to manifest, and feeling support from your support team, your friends, family, mental health care worker, romantic partner, etc. Okay, but let's look at the growth in just these two cards, your repeating cards. So the big one is the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, was that past energy we already talked about. And then over here, we got the Ten of Sacred Circles, or Ten of Pentacles, now in the right side up position, okay? So you can see the growth in just those two cards there, Cancer, which is really nice. And also, we have the full moon in the background. The full moon is, I believe, on October 9th, and we're talking about in this third week, the 16th through the 22nd. So it doesn't necessarily have to be talking about the full moon. Some people feel it stronger than others, right? Sometimes the ripple effects can go longer in people's lives, but it's a combination energy. So 10 in the tarot is the highest number, right? So the energy is the biggest it can be, just like a full moon, okay? But let's kind of look at what else Spirit wants to talk about real quickly here with this, with that 10 of Sacred Circles in the right side up position, the 2 sponsor cards from the past that made it possible. So we have the 2 of Cups in the right side up position, and we have the 8 of Swords in the right side up position. Again, past energy. So it looks like here, Cancer, in the past, there possibly was some type of union, right? Whether it was romantic, like the card shows, or a work partnership, or with friends or family, or even different parts of yourself. If you're talking about self-love, that in the past there was equal give and take by both. 2 energies, 2 parties, what have you. But then on the other side, with that 8 of Swords in the right side up position, there could have been still some lingering anxiety, worry, overthinking. And we see that Japanese woman is fanning herself, and she's trying to integrate the water in the background, her heart chakra, with the logical part of her brain, the anxiety, worry, overthinking. But it's going in more the negative anxiety, worry, overthinking, and not elevating to a more positive thing. But again, this is past energy. So maybe these lessons, of course, needed to be learned in some way here, Cancer. But it's just really cool because it is past energy, right? So let's go back up here. So you go from the 3rd week, the 10 of Sacred Circles in the right side up position, which is beautiful, to your 4th card, another 10 in the right side up position. The 10 of Staves, okay? Or 10 of Wands, this is also known. And we said that could be from around October 23rd through October 29th. Okay, so speaking of leveling up here, Cancer, yes, okay, when we have these 2 10s in the right side up position, if there was in the past, in some way, not the best health when we talk about wands, right? Our defense system, our immune system, then maybe there's going to be better health here in the body and the mental health, right? For some, but also just these 2 10s are like, now there's going to be endings and new beginnings. There's also going to be possibly some advancements and work or a relationship or something where, again, the next logical step, whatever it is for you or how you and those people define those things, is going to be moving up here. So that's so beautiful, right? And so, yeah, that's just really good, okay? Not too much to say about that, but let's keep going. Now your last tarot card here, Cancer. This is your tarot confirmation card, which is going to come in and confirm all 4 weeks here. And it is past and future energies, okay? So you show up with the Emperor, and it's called the High Priest, okay, in this deck. Okay, so here he is, right? And he's super powerful. He's sitting on his throne. He's throwing up. He almost looks like a rocker. I don't know. It looks like a Celtic rocker to me. But he has everything that he needs, right? He's fully supported. He's got the Ram, Aries energy, the Emperor showing up in the background as well. But this is such a nice energy, okay, Cancer, because this Emperor Aries energy is saying, yes, if you want to be a king or queen, an emperor, empress, right? Another word kind of similar to king or queen, and you want to continue on this path, right? Rise in your power, know your worth, okay? I was saying before with all the pentacles here in your reading as well, but also use your support system, your friends, family, mental health care worker, romantic partner, etc., right? To have them have your back, okay? So they say, but know that you have all the tools that you need to manifest. So the Emperor energy is also about entrepreneurship, right? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? So being a leader in some way also is really beautiful, and we're picking up that energy as well here. But let's keep going. I'm sorry, this reading is going to be a little bit more rushed than usual, but hopefully you can slow down the speed. I think you can do that on YouTube if I'm talking too fast for you. Okay, but there's really good stuff, so it's not, it's good. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, hopefully, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about your oracle card here, Cancer. So this is your Rebecca Campbell oracle deck card for this time period or even beyond. And you see this woman sitting by some kind of body of water, and she's surrounded by rocks. And there's a pyramid in the background and stars and everything. Okay, but it says, share your voice, come out of the cave. I guess she was in the cave. Persecution and expression. Interesting. Okay. So if there was a period, right, in the past where you felt like you weren't expressing yourself enough or you were persecuted in some way, we could definitely say in the past, the Ten of Pentacles in reverse and the Eight of Swords right side up, those are really the only two energetic blockages from the past that we can maybe refer to as the persecution part or being in a cave. Now it's time to come out, right? Also with both of your tens and leveling up, okay? And also your Emperor, right? So that's beautiful, okay? So share your voice. Now is the time. People might be more receptive, okay? Again, with a lot of these planets in retrograde now going forward throughout October and towards the end of the month as well. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have for you, Cancer, real quickly. We do have some letter charms. So let's see. We've got M and Z, or Z and M. We've got QC, or CQ. And we got SW. Okay, so what do these mean, right? They could be initials of somebody's name. They can be acronyms of something that means something to you. But yeah, SV could be southwest. It could be a direction, right? QC, QZ, QM, and Q. I'm not sure. There's so many different combinations of how they can go, but the southwest one is sticking out to me the most. CMZ, CMQ, CMW. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely, like I said, lots of different ways it can go. So I'll leave it up to you guys to let me know. Maybe it doesn't necessarily make sense now, but it might later. So I took the picture. You can look at it later as well and see what different combinations you come up with. So always feel free to let me know. But yeah, Cancer, that is your reading, and hopefully you got something from it. It was really nice reading, so hopefully it plays out for you this way. So feel free, again, to let me know if you want to. But yeah, also, if you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, it's free. All you have to do is click on the subscribe button if you have a YouTube account already set up. And if you like this video, not only does it tell me that you like it and resonate with it in some way, appreciate it, it also lets YouTube's algorithm share it more with others in the first couple hours of when you like it, if that's something you feel like doing, but no pressure. All right, so thank you guys so much as always. Gonna go ahead and take a break, and we will be coming back either tonight or tomorrow with the last two for this series of readings. So we'll be coming back with Leo and Virgo. So you guys take care and enjoy this time period, and we'll see you later. All right, bye.